I've never done meth, but I imagine if you did meth, it would probably be kind of like listening to In Motion by Britney Fox.
The chorus just brings you right back to that smooth, catchy, huge perfection.
It looks like they could rock, but they could also sign the Declaration of Independence.
Its intensity and the driving drums is so epic.
I mean, if you guys really fucking hated each other and you were getting into fistfights on the tour bus, tell me that.
Why are you doing this to me right now? Like, I love this song, dude.
It's like two and a half minutes in and out, kind of like your sex life.
Provided some inspiration, that's for sure.
At least you probably have a sex life, because I don't even know what a sex life is anymore. Do you put it in their ear?
Long way. And it's like, fuck, that was perfect.
Fuck. You know what we need? We need the heavy metal We Are the World.
Should probably get my pants on.
There you, hey, you're doing these videos with no pants on? That's actually kind of hot. Look, I came here to do two things: chew bubblegum and talk hair metal. And it looks like I'm almost out of bubblegum. Welcome to the Hair Metal Guru. My name is Anthony. They call me the Guru. And I got my good buddy Ryan, the lead singer of Metalcast, here because we need to talk about one of the really consequential, but I think in a way forgotten bands of the hair metal genre. And we are talking about Britny Fox. It is time to do a top 10, the 10 greatest songs in the catalog of Britny Fox. So with that, Ryan, welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much. And I don't know which was more difficult to select, Warrant, Poison, or Britny Fox so far. And obviously I went off the first three amazing albums.
Yeah.
Although the live album is amazing. And if it's truly live, they belong in the Hall of Fame. But I don't know if it's truly live. But for me, I'm a huge Bite Down Hard guy, so it's represented fairly heavily on my list. It's definitely my favorite album. I prefer Tommy Paris, but I still absolutely love Dizzy Dean. So there's no knock on that at all. I just kind of prefer Paris. Tommy Paris to me just has like the ideal rock voice. And I only represented Boys in Heat once, but again, it's not a knock on that album because I love it. There's just so much material on album 1 and 3 that I can't live without. So
right.
Just disclaimer, no knock on the middle album and no knock on Dizzy, but those were my choices. So I love this band.
I'm right with you. That Bite Down Heart. I did 3 albums. I didn't, man. Well, number one, if you've ever heard the album Springhead Motor Shark, oh, what the fuck was that?
Dude, I spent money on that thing and bought it when it came out.
Yes. And it's a shit show. The live album is very good. You know who put out really good live albums that were just under the radar is the Britny Fox live album, and the Lillian Axe live album is great too. Wait,
right.
Am I right? Lillian Axe and yes. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, and I love Tommy Paris, but I love Dean. So we have the debut album from '88 that did go gold. I remember thinking that, God, did it not? It did go gold. Then you have Bite Down or Boys in Heat from '89, which kind of led to the breakup of the band. They were getting ready to go tour with Tuff, and Michael Kelly Smith and Dean Davidson got into a fight. They break up. Well, that leads to Tommy Paris joining the band in 1991. They released the phenomenal Bite Down Hard. So there's only 3 albums, but I love these 3 albums. I think Britny Fox is such an underrated band in the history of hair metal. So it was still really difficult for me to knock it down to 10 songs.
Absolutely. A lot to be said with these 3. I feel like Britny Fox is one of those bands that was way ahead of their time because they came out at like the height of glam, and like their album cover was very glam and everything.
Yep.
But there's so much substance to the songs.
Yes.
I'm not like giving a ton of credit to all the 70s bands, but it's a little bit more Aerosmithy 70s based with that killer 80s-ness. So the songs were just that they churned out on that live or the self-titled album were quite something.
Yes, absolutely. So before we get into it, I'd like to share a couple things. Here is Number one, I'll go in reverse order. So unfortunately, it's black and white, but I'm sure in 1991 they weren't getting a big budget for their ad. But here's an original ad for the Bite Down Hard album. Oh, love this album. It was just so, it did not even chart in the
Ah,
top 200, which is so unfortunate. But I've pushed this album and told friends, and so many people are like, oh, what an undiscovered gem. So, Bite Down Hard. Then we have one for Boys in Heat. What the fuck were they thinking with this cover and with that title, Boys
yeah.
in Heat? I get it. That might have been fine in 86, maybe even 87. By 89, Boys in Heat was kind of going to get laughed at, which is unfortunate because a ton of great songs on this album, but the cover and the title did them no favors. And then finally, from the debut, this is an album flat. And Brian said this is the one album cover where it looks like they could rock, but they could also sign the Declaration of Independence. So great album, the debut. I always thought this came out earlier. Like it came out in 88, but this just feels like a Cinderella cover.
Yeah.
The night songs, like they're
Yeah.
really done up, poofy hair, goofy outfits, but still came out in 88. And Brittany Fox is basically, people that got kicked out of Cinderella ended up starting Brittany Fox. So, the similarities between the bands are numerous. So,
Yeah. I think when Metal Mike interviewed, I think it was Billy Childs,
yep.
he described the Boys in Heat controversy and how they wanted it called something else and they wanted the album cover something else. Had that been the case, it may have garnered the success that it deserved because it's a hell of an album.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So unfortunate that now, and shoot, I saw they reunited with Tommy Paris. This is like in the mid 2000s, maybe around 2008. I saw him live with White Lion, and there was a good crowd, and they were phenomenal live. Now, I
Awesome.
saw him another time where they weren't with White Lion, and there was about 30 people there. They were still tremendous. Tommy Paris can pull off all this shit live.
Oh
I have
yeah.
seen the band with Dean too. It was in the late 80s, and I think they were opening for Joan Jett, and
Okay.
they were phenomenal.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've ever seen any iteration of Brittany Fox.
Missed it.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, phenomenal band. We got to pick 10 songs. Let's get into it. Ryan, what is your number 10?
Okay, thank you. My number 10 is Don't Hide. And this chorus, as well as the guitar solo, were what really tipped the scales for me because they just stand out. And it's the song intro is vastly different than what you think you'll get from this song. And the guitar solo is also very different and it gels so well. So I chose two album tracks off the first album, and it was not an easy choice. But this one and coming up would be my next. But that's what tipped the scales. And usually a guitar solo doesn't do that for me, but this one really did.
Okay, I love this song. And it was so, in fact, in my honorable mentions, it's the first one listed.
Okay,
Like
cool.
I had listed a ton of songs and I put in my 10 and I was like, oh, how do that chorus when he gets into the and I don't know, there's background vocals to it and it is so eerily catchy. And I'm like, but shit, it just didn't make the list. But as soon as you said it, I got all excited. I was like, ooh, all right, it's in there somewhere. So that's a great call.
Yeah. And like what I know you're thinking of the chorus right now, it almost has that Michael Anthony thing in the background, but I think it's all Dizzy Dean doing his own thing. Because when I hear the high, it sounds like his falsetto high.
Yep.
But I bet live one of the guys does that. But yeah, but that chorus is huge.
Oh, fantastic. And I think live Billy Childs, the bass player, did a lot of those background vocals, and there'll be a song coming up where I love the background vocals. I'll get to it here in a second, but
nice.
So that was in my honorable mentions. Damn near made the list.
All right.
My number 10 is from the debut, and so I recorded an episode with Brian recently on Lillian Axe, and I said I wanted to just pick my 10 favorite songs. I didn't want to try to spread them out evenly on the
Mhm.
albums, but I may have done that. It doesn't mean that I picked any bad songs, but when I look at it, I'm like, oh shit, I got three from here, three anyway.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to lay that out there. But my number 10 is Long Way to Love off the debut album. I love that opening guitar riff. And then when it gets into the verses, there's I call it galloping guitar. It's like,
Uh-huh.
and you're like, oh shit. And so one thing I've realized in getting ready for this video is Brittany Fox is great at coming up with just kick-ass, catchy opening guitar riffs.
Oh yeah.
You know, like they're not AC/DC guitar riffs, but it reminds me of AC/DC. Like AC/DC is known for, the simple guitar riff that'll just grab you by the soul. And I feel like that's what happens with Brittany Fox. And Long Way to Love is one of those songs that does it. So that's my number 10.
All right, man. Well, it's on my list, but I shall.
Okay. All right. All right. We'll hold off for now. Okay. What's your number 9?
All right. Okay. Full disclosure, this is where I had Dream On, but upon re-listening to it, it didn't grab me. But Standing in the Shadows did grab me, and it always has. So to me, this is the blueprint for great production, the chugging riff,
Yeah.
and a huge chorus. I love it. And it actually concludes my Boys in Heat nod on this list, which is crazy. Like I said, I love that album. But that's it. And it's funny you say the galloping thing, because I always talked about Iron Maiden and I described them as the galloping guitars, and that it's making sense. Like it's a little different, but the galloping is right there. It kind of triggered me on this song too. So yeah. But Standing in the Shadows, dude, think about that chorus in your head too, and you'll be like, okay, I remember why it's so killer.
Totally. And I'll again on my honorables, didn't make my list. However, what was the song that you almost was your number 9?
Dream On.
Okay, my number 9 is Dream On. And we did not share lists. Okay, so I have no clue what he doesn't know my list either. I love Dream On. It was actually a single. It got a video off the Boys in Heat album. It's mid-tempo, it's acoustic, and for the first time, at least I don't remember very much on the first album, but on Boys in Heat, you got to hear Dean's clean voice quite frequently on Dream On, and there's a couple other songs where he does it too. But it's a great clean voice. Now, everyone knows that I love the fucking howl. You know, that thing that will peel fingernail polish off your hands and paint off your walls. So I love Dean's scratch. It's so similar, I think, to Tom Kiefer from Cinderella. But here, mid-tempo, great lyrics, super catchy acoustic guitar. Was one of my favorite songs when this album came out. I still love listening to it. So Dream On's my number 9.
Good. I'm glad you represented it. And
I've
always liked the song, and I still like it. But if I was going to represent Boys in Heat, Standing in the Shadows is my choice.
Right. So. I got you. All right. We're on to number 8.
All right. Number 8, Fun in Texas.
Okay.
So you got the acoustic intro, the building opening riff, a nice war cry at the beginning like you're talking about, and that solid kick in. And this again signifies that very different aspect of Brittany Fox and what they brought to an 88 glam scene. And I mean, the other band besides Brunette that wrote a song about Texas, and if you know me, I'm a huge Johnny Gioli nut, and I love Hardline, and I love Brunette. They have a killer song called Texas Soul, and it also rules. So I don't know, maybe there's some correlation. But for real, this entire first album was much more of a mature, ahead of its time thing, and there was a lot going on with each song. And again, in my re-listening, the guitar work is so superb, and it stands out so heavily on almost every solo. But again, Fun in Texas and Don't Hide, they kind of won me over with certain aspects of the song, which generally don't grab me, but totally grabbed me, and that's how I decided on these album tracks.
Okay. Yeah. It was, there were so many songs off the debut album, and I'll throw this one out there. Goodbye to Jane could have been
Yeah.
on my list, but I said I'm not going to do any covers.
Okay.
And
I
so
love
that
that
was
song.
kind of a rule. I did the same thing with Lily and Axe. I was like, no
Yeah.
covers. So anyway, like Goodbye to Jane. There, that first album, it only went gold, but man, I'm like, how did that thing not go platinum?
I
So
know.
yeah, great song. Um, my number eight, right? Eight
Yep.
comes my first track off Bite Down Hard. I fucking love this album. It's Six Guns Loaded. It's
Yeah,
the
baby.
opening track. And this was, it was like different. It was like harder and faster on Bite Down Hard than you were getting. Like the riffs would build a little bit more, I feel like, on the first two albums. A little bit
Yeah.
more AC/DC-ish, where they could breathe. The riffs breathed a little bit more. Here they
Yeah.
were just fucking in and coming in and grabbing you by the throat and go
Yeah.
did it, and I was like, holy shit! Like, this
Yeah.
is the new Britney Fox. So it's the opening track. It just grabbed me right away, and I was like, wow, like what an way to announce your presence with authority, and catchy as shit. And so that opens off Bite Down Hard, and it comes in at number 8 right here.
Very good. I had it on the list because I love this song. I put it on the honorables, kind of 11th hour,
Yep.
switched it out a little. But anyway, that is the song that obviously when I never heard this album, I bought the CD and I went, oh shit, this is making like a Tiger Tail's Sixth Sex impact on me right now. Like I am obsessed with this and I was fucking loving it. So anyway, killer song. I don't know how that song is on my honorables, but it goes to show the strength of that album.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, you're number 7.
Okay. Here begins my overwhelming tribute to Bite Down Hard with Over and Out.
Oh, yeah.
Love Over and Out. Pretty much this album kind of dominates my list, but I don't know if it's a ballad or a mid tempo. I'll leave that up to interpretation. I'm a sucker for the slow songs where the singer is still kind of up high in the high range still,
Yes.
and it could be mistaken for like singing in full voice, but it's still pretty clean for Tommy Paris's range, and he can get up to that dizzy scratch a little bit. A lot of these songs are showcased very well on Long Way to Live. And again, if this version is truly live, it's a perfect performance, and he pulls it off so well live. And I don't know, ballad mid tempo, killer song.
I mean, that live album, I can't see, yeah, bands who are making tons of money, they got time and studio time to go in and fix shit. I just can't see that Britney
Yeah,
Fox But like I said,
yeah,
I saw them twice with Tommy Paris, and I was like, holy shit, they were pulling it off live. Like, yeah, so I mean, I'm
yeah,
assuming that the live thing is very close to being just live.
yeah,
And I consider it a ballad just because it's so, the acoustic guitar.
yeah,
And some people think that ballads have to be love songs. No, ballads can be stories, you know.
yeah.
Like to me, 18 in Life by Skid Row is a ballad. It's a
Mhm.
song that tells a story, and it's mellow. So
There you go.
whatever. But I love Over and Out. And I won't say if it's on, I don't want to give away anything. It could be, it might not be. Okay.
Maybe.
My number 7, I'm going back to the debut, and most people know I'm a soldier. I deployed twice. I was in the military for 22 years. I love the song In America, and
Yeah.
maybe it gets the patriotic part of me, but he's like talking about the land of the free, the home of the brave, but it's not just patriotic. It's catchy as shit. It's got a great guitar riff. I
Oh,
love Dean's vocals in this thing. When it gets to the chorus, it's phenomenal. So, if you're like me and you're like I'm one of those pro America guys, and so
oh,
I
God
love
forbid.
bands. What's that?
God forbid.
That's right. That's right. Oh, geez, pro America. I fucking love America. So I'm all about pro America shit. And In America is not just pro America, it's also a great song. Comes in at number 7.
Awesome. Great choice. And again, I can hear all these choruses in my head and I go, oh
Oh,
yeah, I love that shit.
oh, their choruses are just fucking, man, just so catchy and
Yeah,
fucking grab you right here. Like, oh, so okay,
totally.
we are moving on to your number 6.
All right, a little known song called Girl School. And who could resist the great Kim Anderson? She's probably my favorite video vixen. She's so fucking fine. And I
That
had
that
a,
that's the teacher in the video.
yeah,
Uh,
she's in school, the school. Yeah, right. That's exactly. I had a poster of Kim Anderson wearing a very well placed, or maybe not so well placed, kind of pissed me off, a necktie,
okay.
and like short shorts. And I had it like over my bench press in my, when I lived at home, and I had like a little weight room at my parents' house, and I was just it's like provided some inspiration, that's for
Yep.
sure. But
Yep.
maybe a lot of inspiration. But
Yep.
no, it's the first Britney song I ever heard. And I definitely fell in love with it. Catchy as shit. Shows Dean's insane vocals. Had that blend. It had that special blend of like hard rocking with like radio and MTV listenability, which very few could accomplish.
Yes.
So the fact that it was such a rocker and a pretty significant hit and got them like the Poison tour, got them on MTV, all that stuff. So love Girl School.
Yes, yeah, that's right. They got a Poison tour. And then
Yeah.
on Boys in Heat, they were supposed to get the Kiss tour,
Ooh.
but they figured they're like shit, Slaughter and Faster Pussycat were starting to blow up a little bit. So they didn't get the Kiss tour. And some people say now they were gonna have to go play clubs, and that was kind of a cause of some of their problems that
Yeah.
led to everything going shitty, and they ended up breaking up. So it's a good point about their touring
There you go.
possibilities. Okay, I love that. I won't get into it too much, but okay, my number 6. I'm going back to Bite Down Hard. I did do an albums ranking of Britny Fox. This is months ago now. I think I called it Britny Fox, a hair metal casualty, and then I ranked but surprising, or maybe not surprisingly, Bite Down Hard came in at number 1. And I love the first 2 albums. I love all 3. So at number 6 is the song Louder. And
Oh
I
yeah.
think this is the one song that did get a video from that album. And somebody correct me in the comments. I know there was one video from the album. I think it was for Louder. It again, a great guitar riff. I love the gang vocals in the chorus. They did gang vocals like shit. When I think of gang vocals, I think of like Warrant. I think of Def Leppard. Def Leppard probably started the gang vocal thing, in the
Yeah.
choruses. Brittany Fox did it really well here.
Oh yeah.
Louder was something that could have been a hit, was so catchy, but that album, like I said, didn't even chart in the top 200, but it's full of top-notch shit. Louder comes in at number 6.
Again, I should remain quiet.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. We're on to your number 5.
All right, number 5, I got Black and White off of Bite Down Hard. Smooth intro of open chords and drums. You know it's going to be a good song when you hear that. And I love songs with false choruses. Think Gods of War, where they cue up the chorus musically, instrumentally, and then they launch into the second verse. Well, they do that tease, which I love on this song. And the chorus pays off huge when they do get into it. It sounds great live. I've always been a little bit confused with the like dull megaphone second verse. You know what I mean? Remember that?
Yep. Yes.
It's interesting, but and the guitar solo plays the second chorus, or the lead guitar plays the second chorus, but it works. They rule instrumentally, and it's way different, but it works and it's killer, and I love it.
I love that part.
Yeah.
How did you say that? What did you call it? That
So,
chorus where
like the teased chorus, like
where it's like muted or something. It's
well, I talked about the false chorus.
Yes.
Teased, and then when they do go into the second verse,
Okay.
To me, it sounds like he's singing into like a very dull megaphone.
That part, that's what I'm
You
talking
know?
about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then instead of him singing the second chorus of Black and White, Michael Kelly Smith plays it on lead guitar
Yes.
in the same notes that he would be syllables and whatnot. And it's like, whoa, what? This is the second chorus and it's done by the guitar solo. This is rad. So again, super random. Musically, it's totally killer and it works.
I could have had that on my list so hard. Fuck. And just hearing you talk about it, I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that song. Okay.
Great song.
Um, on to my number 5. Okay, is this my second one? I think this is my second song from Boys in Heat, and it is Long Way from Home. And
Mm-hmm.
this is, again, this is more mid-tempo. It's not what you think of. It falls in line, I think, with Dream On.
Yeah.
It's not a ballad, mid-tempo rock song, cool, just it almost reminds something you might hear from fucking like Brian Adams or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
That opening guitar riff. Dean, again, you get his clean vocals, but I love songs that are about being on the road. And I think part of it comes back to when I was in Iraq, we all had, you had you boom box or whatever, we had headphones, we had access to music, we could buy stuff from Amazon. We had our family ship CDs over to listen to. And so we really, any song that was about like, oh man, here I am, and eventually I'll be back home where it got played a lot. This is a
Yeah.
song I remember playing a lot, and you're just thinking about like one, and I'm sure for the band it's like, hey, we've been on the road for 150 days playing shows, but hopefully I'll be back home. And we were doing the same thing when we were
Yeah.
over in Iraq, and you were like, man, we only got 50 more days left to go, can't wait till this is over. So we really related to those songs. So I think that's one thing that really drew me to Long Way from Home. But it's catchy as shit, and I like that mid-tempo stuff and with songs along the road. So it grabbed me, and it comes in at number 5.
Cool. And like of all bands, they can tell a story and it's very relatable. I don't recall if this was ever released as a single. Do you
I
remember?
don't think it was.
Yeah.
I know Dream On was, and I know there was one. What the fuck
I
was the
think
other single?
was it In Motion?
I don't think so, but
Standing
you
in the
might be hearing
shadows.
about Emotion later on, because I fucking love Emotion.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So hey, somebody let us know in the comments, because I should have known this before the video. But anyway, maybe it was. It's possible that Long Way from Home was, but I won't say for sure.
Yeah. I know was it Angel in My Heart? That's the other one that they wished that would have been released as a
Angel in My Heart. Yep.
yeah. I remember that interview on the 80s Glam Metal Cast. He
Yeah.
was talking about they both agreed that could have easily been a single and they kind of blew it.
Totally.
Right.
Totally.
Yeah.
All right. On to your number 4.
All right, Lonely Too Long. All right, so story time on this one. So around like 99, I bought an electric guitar and I decided that I was going to write the best AC/DC song that AC/DC never wrote. And I came up with this killer guitar riff and I wrote lyrics and I actually recorded it with the help of an actual guitar player friend of mine. Well, fast forward like a year or so and I buy Bite Down Hard and I'm busy falling in love with this album. And when I get to Lonely Too Long, I realize that it's the exact same riff that I came up with, 9 years later. So I was 9 years late. But anyway, just like most of the songs in Bite Down Hard, the intro, the verse is hard and killer. The chorus just brings you right back to that smooth, catchy, huge perfection. And again, when you talk about Lonely Too Long and you hear this in your head, you're like, fuck, this is killer. Like I could listen to this song God, I thought you had a snake, dude. I just saw the tail go like that. And I was like, there's a snake next to you.
Yeah.
But anyway, Lonely Too Long, number 4.
Oh, I love that song, and shit, it's not on my list. Basically, anything off Bite Down Hard that didn't make it on my list is probably on my honorable mentions.
Totally. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So my number 4, and it got mentioned somewhere down the line, but it is In Motion from Boys in Heat. It is the opening track, and it is as heavy and as fast as Brittany Fox got. It was four to the floor, balls to the wall. I've never done meth, but I imagine if you did meth, it would probably be kind of like listening to In Motion by Brittany Fox. And I love that song. I mean, the first time that thing came on, I remember, again, one of those you're like, holy shit, that was completely different. And I thought it could have been a single because it's eerily catchy. It's got this really cool motorcycle part that kind of kicks, and then this drum beat comes driving in.
Oh yeah.
And it's like 2.5 minutes in and out, kind of like your sex life. So just kidding.
That's all you need, right?
At least you probably have a sex life, because I don't even know what a sex life is anymore. Do you put it in their ear, or where does it go? I don't know.
Close.
So In Motion, it could have been higher on my list because it is one of those songs that is still my Brittany Fox go-to song to this day. So number 4.
Well played, man. That's great. It's definitely an honorable for me. And it, again, like you're saying with Bite Down Hard, so many of these songs you could just kind of like throw the whole album out, be like honorable, honorable, honorable. So
Totally.
There's only one at the end that I'm going to create a dishonorable, and we'll talk about that.
Okay, sure. All right, we are on to your number 3.
Okay, here's where I got louder. Love this song, dude. So you nailed it. The Ripper second song on the album, the verse, my God, its intensity and the driving drums is so epic. His voice fits these tunes so well. Like, I know he came in with a lot of songs and helped create this album, but they fit so killer. And the part that I'm not going to attempt it, the only way to feel the same as me in the chorus.
Oh, shit. Yes.
Dude, and if you just
attempt it, just do it.
Oh, well. Someone in the comments will hurt my feelings again, so I'm not going to do it. But that part just makes the chorus, makes the whole thing. And, just play the first few songs on this album and just play them straight through. And you'd be like, is this a best stuff? Like,
oh yeah.
God bless Tommy Paris. His voice is amazing.
The first 4 songs, like, well, they're not all, but a lot of the first 4 is like fucking.
I think the one that I don't love that much is Liar, and that's like number 3, I think.
Fire.
And that's where I was like,
and they did a cover. Midnight Moses is a cover, which is okay. It's not my favorite. That and Liar probably are my 2 least favorites.
Exactly. Yeah. Totally.
So, okay. Awesome. My number 3, again, going to Bite Down Hard.
Nice.
And this is one of the best ballads, I think, of the hair metal genre. I know I did a video on ballads that should have destroyed the charts. Look My Way.
Yeah.
Off Bite Down Hard is so fucking good. I almost have goosebumps just thinking about it. It's heartfelt. Tommy Paris is just a damn revelation on vocals. Now I know his real name is Don Gilson.
Yeah, love that album.
There is an album that is just called Gilson, and I've listened to it and I like it. But what he did on Bite Down Hard is holy balls. I mean, I don't know, but it's amazing. And I'm just like, how did the guy never get another band? I know he does solo music. And in fact, I have messaged him on X, and we have discussed doing an interview because I want to hear his thoughts on going from Gilson to Bite Down Hard and what the whole process was like and what it was like touring for it. And maybe, realizing that it wasn't going to sell, but I think, and I hope he knows, and I'll send this video to him on X when we get done, that this Bite Down Hard is a huge underground favorite among people that like this style of music, like guys like me and you. So, and I know Brian said that Brian from the Hairband Basement said that he got into it by watching one of my videos, and he's like, fuck, I'd never bought that album. Wow. It's an amazing fucking album. So
yeah, I kind of put XYZ Hungry and this album in that category together of like, you play those two albums through and through and you're like, I don't really need much else. Like
Yeah.
it's early 90s perfection, and the guitar tone, the vocals, it's just, those two albums are amazing. So
Now I need to go listen to XYZ Hungry. I've listened to that, but it's been a long time.
dude, Feels Good. And what's the other one that I'm obsessed with? Don't Say No.
Okay.
Those two songs are like, I mean, like you could put them right there. They're
Sure.
just they're amazing.
Sure. Okay, so Look My Way, Bite Down Hard, my number 3. Check that shit out. Your
Awesome, dude.
number 2.
That great call by you. It was a toss up for me. It went Over and Out and Look My Way. I was like, I'm gonna go Over and Out because it won me over in the live album. He did his little tribute to his father and this and that. I was like,
yes,
okay, I'll do that one. But anyway, so my number 2, another one off Bite Down Hard, Closer to Your Love. And again, with the chorus, I mean, you can't deny this. This is maybe my favorite Tommy Paris moment. And it's just before the second chorus. And I queued it up. But it's the way he lets it rip into the chorus, and the scream trails over the, oh, dude, that part's so killer. And again, live on the live album, he nails it probably better than he did on the studio version. So I don't think I can choose a favorite song on this album because each one has that element where I'm like, oh, fuck. Louder, Black and White, Closer to Your Love, Lonely Too Long, like Six Guns Loaded. Like they're all so freaking good. And this one probably takes the cake in ranking on the list because of that part and because that chorus is so huge. So I couldn't even describe it. I had to play it for you.
I hope I don't get a knock. Like,
ooh, yeah, you get the Britney Fox police on you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's a good transition because my number 2 is also Closer to Your Love. By
yeah, baby.
I fucking love that song. It was, and that's, I mean, we've said it, that album is so full of catchiness, but that chorus, and I will say this, I've chatted with Tommy Paris a little bit on X, and he's asking me, he's like, hey man, will you share my stuff, blah, 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 and talk a little bit. And he watched my Britny Fox rankings, and he said, I'm glad you gave some love to my favorite song off Bite Down Hard, Closer to Your Love. So
nice, dude.
I promise I did not put it up there because of that, but that riff is phenomenal. That chorus won't leave your head. And I wrote again. I'm like, man, Tommy Paris's vocals on that album, I'll put up with almost any album that came out in that time frame.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad that he loves it too, because there's a few artists out there that kind of shit on their like really cool classic stuff that like we love, and you're like, wait, why are you doing this to me right now? Like, I love this song, dude. It may be dated to you, but to me, I still crank it daily. So anyway, I'm really stoked that he loved it.
I have to imagine that there are some people in bands who watch this channel. I mean, I'm not trying to, but like if I had been in a band in the 80s and I knew that some dude was talking about my shit on a YouTube video, I would want to watch it. So if you are one of those guys, don't shit on your stuff. There is nothing worse than hearing some guy shit on something that we love.
Right.
You can say, hey, look, it was a different time. Yeah, we all dressed like idiots, and yeah, maybe when you look back, the lyrics that you were writing back then might not have been as, uh, deep and dark and maybe they're kind of silly, but that was the time. And if you were in a band that was lucky enough to get a large number of people to like what you were doing, I hate it when I hear guys say, oh, we became real in 1992, and I hate that shit that we did back in the 80s. Don't do that. Okay, it sucks. Don't do it.
I kind of equate that to the biographies that I read. Like a big one is the Stephen Pearcy biography that came out. and I was super pumped to read it, and I did, and it like described how much they hated each other, and basically like during the invasion of the privacy recording, they were like, "Fuck you! I'm gonna fucking write these lyrics. I'm taking the publishing. You're a dick. I'm not using your song. I don't even like that guy." And you're like, "Oh man, I fucking love Rat. I love this
Yeah,
album." And I was hoping they partied together, and I think they did a lot, but like
sure.
it just kind of like let me down a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of stuff too. Same with like the Sammy Hagar book. Soon as like the Balance tour kind of was wrapping up, and like the Humans Being debacle, that was a great song, and it just kind of like fell apart. It kind of makes me bummed out. Same with that kind of shit where I equate it.
I will be honest. I do like when the books go into detail about that because, I want to hear how it really was.
Right.
I mean, if you guys really fucking hated each other and you were getting into fistfights on the tour bus, tell me that. Okay.
Yeah.
And it does suck because when you're young, and bands will, yeah, everybody thinks that it's all for one and one for all.
Yeah.
Well, you can't live on a tour bus for 200 days with guys who are drinking and doing drugs and
Right.
not get pissed off at each other, you know.
Yeah.
And not to, but in the military, when we were all on that one fucking little base and with a couple hundred of us and you could never get, you got sick of each other. But
Yeah.
to me,
Well,
that's different than saying, hey, these songs that you love, I don't like them. I think they're
right.
stupid.
Right.
That bothers me more than hearing that you got into fights. So
Yeah.
anyway.
Well, at least there's not a bunch of alphas on the military base.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Luckily, I was just a peon back then.
Right.
When I went to Kosovo, I was an officer, but I'd been a peon long enough that I think I was an officer who wasn't like, all right, you fuckers, you got to do. I've been an E4 for the year I was in Iraq, so I was the guy who was like, hey, go pick that shit up. Oh, yes, sir. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, okay. Closer to Your Love, both of our number twos. I am
Awesome.
dying to hear what your number one is. So what do you got?
All right. Okay. Well, this completely contradicts everything I've been saying about Bite Down Hard being my favorite Britney album and my favoring of Tommy Paris. But here's where I have the epic and your number 10, Long Way to Love. And I mean, do you blame me? It's like Britney Fox's Still of the Night. It's an epic. Dizzy gets to flex his lower range, which is so killer. But then like think about the bridge, like the In the Morning Sun part when he really starts to like kick it up to the high falsetto, and he gets up there, he let that rip too. But if you ever like think about the drum hits before each chorus, but especially coming out of the solo, and it's just the slow long way, and it's like, fuck, that was perfect.
Yes.
And what a crime, the music video. They cut the intro short by a measure. If you remember that, it's kind of like, oh, come on, you saved like 6 or 7 seconds, and it like, to me, I like every time I see it, I'm like, doesn't have the same effect. But great song, cool music video, live setting. Not sure why it's in a junkyard. Don't know the significance of that, but it's still pretty cool. But yeah, dude, contradicting myself, but I had to put it as one because it's a total epic. Should probably get my pants on.
Hey, you're doing these videos with no pants on?
I'm like a judge. You never know. The judge could be wearing nothing underneath.
That's actually kind of hot. Okay, so my number one, and you might have been led to believe that it was going to come off Bite Down Hard because I've said that's my number one album. However, just like you, it came off a different one, and I had to go with where it all started, and that's Girls' School from the self-titled album. The first song that I heard from the band, shit, I remember my cousin going, hey, do you like Brittany Fox? And I go, yeah, she's awesome. I had no clue what she was, but then when I heard that song, I was like, holy balls. Okay, yes, I do like Brittany Fox, and I like it a lot. So the opening guitar riff is phenomenal. I've said this before that we should do an episode sometime on the catchiest riffs of the genre, because I might put Girls' School's opening riff on that episode. Dean's vocals, and yeah, the lyrics are a little goofy, but they're still fun all these years later. And I still turn that song up when it comes on. And I just think it's in the history of BRITNY FOX. It is probably where most people go to when they talk about BRITNY FOX. I probably go to Bite Down Hard for the majority of the songs, but I still think this might be the greatest song in the pantheon of BRITNY FOX, so that's why it comes in at number one.
Yeah, I mean, again, it garnered them tons of success, and they released, I think, two more. Yeah, because they did "Long Way to Love" and then "Save the Week,"
Yeah,
and though that was my dishonorable mention. I'm sorry to say, I
Save the
cannot
Week.
stand I can't stand that ballad, dude. So I mean, hey, they tried with a ballad, but there's so much quality on this album, and they put that out. Like they had to give it a shot in that era to try to release a ballad, but that one it.
And I'm fine with them doing ballads, but it was like they kept watching We Are the World, you know,
Yeah,
and they're like, fuck, you know what we need? We need the heavy metal We Are the World. Save
totally.
the week. Oh,
Yeah,
and I mean, bless Brittany Fox's heart, and I love that album, but that is the cheesiest piece of shit that was ever laid on wax in 1988.
yeah. I didn't mean to go full negative after your killer mention
No.
of Girl School because that is a great song, and I'm so glad they released it as their first single.
Yep.
Gave them all that success. They were able to, like I said, pull off a rocker that had listenability and watchability on MTV. Kim Anderson really helped. That was killer. So yeah, great number one.
Yeah, yeah. And great band. And so
Yeah,
unfortunate that they never got like and I mean this when I say this. Like I know shoot, we always talk up the bands we're going to talk about. But I think in the grand scheme of things, they had an amazing 3 album run.
yeah,
Only one goes gold. Boys in Heat doesn't do shit. I mean, I think it did it got to 79, but I'm sure that was just from people going, "Oh, hey, this is the band that did, Girls' School," and it was 1989. But that leads to the band breaking up. Bite Down Hard, what we've said is maybe our favorite album, doesn't even chart. The band deserved so much better.
yeah. And I know I've discussed with Metal Mike a few times, and like hands down, I'll take these three over Cinderella's first three all day, just because, like we talked about, Brittany Fox did this,
Yeah.
Cinderella did started here, and then kind of even out on Long Cold Winter, and then really took a nosedive. So I'll take these all day, and I know it's probably not the most popular opinion, but I think they're su- way superior.
I may agree with you just because of album number 3, Heartbreak Station. I was super disappointed in. Bite
Yeah,
Down Hard was fucking amazing. I will say that when it comes to Night Songs and Long Cold Winter, I mean, damn, I love the Britney Fox
yeah,
first two too. But the third Britney Fox album might push it over the top for me. So I
yeah,
completely
yeah.
get why you're going with that.
It's hard to put Night Songs up against what you know what I mean. Like
Yep.
that's a tough call.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
very tough. Night Songs is so great,
Yeah.
but that's the only one that I'd have a hard time with because Long Cold Winter, there's like 5 songs that I really like,
Yeah.
and then there's a few songs that are already starting to show their southern colors coming
Yep.
out. Like, I can see where this is going. So,
Yes.
yeah,
Was there anything that you did you write down some honorables that you
yeah.
wanted to get out there?
Well, yeah, a few of them we tackled Six Guns Loaded, Angel in My Heart, Dream On, Goodbye to Jane, Rock Revolution, Kick and Fight, and Look My Way.
Okay. I got Don't Hide,
Yeah,
Rock Revolution, Hold On, Over
yeah,
and Out, Angel in My Heart, Shot from My Gun, and Standing in the Shadows.
nice, dude. All great
So,
songs.
yeah, yeah. With that, Ryan, thanks for coming on and talking about Brittany Fox and their top 10 songs.
Yep, love them, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Hey, in the comments, Tell us, what are your 10 favorite Britney Fox songs? You don't have to limit it to 10. You can go above or below, whatever you want to do, because you are the customer, okay? And the customer is always fucking right. Okay. Anyway, hey, would love it if you like, subscribe, what the hell, ring the bell. You have the opportunity to become a member. Whatever you do, I just appreciate you being here and supporting the channel however you can. Until the next video comes out, my name is Anthony. They call me the Guru. Take care.